This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Icon Podcast. I am your host, Gianna, and today we have the opportunity of talking to Michael. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Gianna. Great to be here. Super excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. So let's start from the beginning. Give us your background. Who are you? Why did you want to be in real estate? Where are you from? A loaded question. Tell us everything.
Background. So I've been in real estate. I've been licensed about 3.5 years right now. Okay. And we came back. We were actually living overseas till about 2015. We're living in Israel.
Oh, wow.
We came back in 2015, Massachusetts, where my wife is from. We lived down there for a while. And then we started buying some investment properties. Okay. And that drew us up to Maine. So probably around 17, 18, we started buying a few properties. And I said, geez, I should get my real estate license.
Yeah.
This could be good for us. I have 6 kids. We'll talk about that. Some of them now are agents. 3 of them are actually on our team. So
fun.
Yeah, we'll build kind of a little bit of a mini dynasty here, I guess, of real estate.
Oh yeah.
And so so it came up here. I've been licensed 3.5 years. Yeah, it was basically done that about Thanksgiving, whatever that would year be, like 18 or so, and then went to production on January of 19 with a previous company. And if you wanted to talk about that or not, that's
that's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
So with KW, Keller Williams, with them for 2 years, and then when we wanted to build the team, it was time to look at some other alternatives. I tend to be a very independent, entrepreneurial type.
Sure.
And, nothing against Keller Williams, great company, great people, still work with them, but it wasn't the vehicle to get us where we wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so in October of 20, right, so it'll be 2 years at EXP this October. October 20, brought the team over, but then it was just myself and one business partner. Really just starting, and one of my kids joined at that point. And so we did 100 sides our first year at EXP. Was able to get to an icon level at that point.
Yeah.
And the team has grown. We're now at about, total people about 16, several admin, 3 admin, and about 13 agents. Bunch of those agents are new onboarding. And we're in several micro markets here in Maine right now. So we're tracking probably we're shooting for 30 million in volume this year. We're kind of on track for that. We'll see how it goes, but it's been a great ride. And that's how we get here.
Awesome. And how many times have you iconed? You said all 3 years?
So I've only been at EXP a year and a half.
Okay. That makes sense.
I've icon once, but according to my calculations and what current closings and pendings, we should icon again in another 30 days.
Awesome.
That's great. It's a team effort. I mean, it's changed because iconing right now means doing a heck of a lot more transactions because almost everyone is a split. So I'm kind of like half out of the production right now. I'm still producing, but a lot of my production goes to the team. So that means you have to do that more often, but it's a team effort. So at this point, so it's really cool.
Absolutely. Well, Michael, how were you introduced to EXP? You've only been in the real estate world for about 3 years. So wasn't your first brokerage? Who introduced it to you? How did that transition go?
Okay, good question. So I am someone that's really into learning and podcasts, and it really comes through podcasts and, books and YouTube. And so that's what first attracted me to really KW, because I was a big fan of the one thing. I knew nothing about real estate. And I didn't know what an expired listing was. I had only bought a few houses for myself. And so just listening and binging on every real estate related podcast you can imagine. And so one of those I listened to all the time was David Hill's podcast, right? Path to Mastery. So shout out to David, who was in Worcester, Massachusetts, right? Outside of Boston. And when I said to my partner, Matt Deshane at the time, I said, you know what, when we're going to go to EXP because we want to build this team, he's the guy we should go speak to. So we reached out to David, and told him our intentions. And he, of course, sponsored us and became our team coach. We hired him to coach our team. And he took us from, 40 sides that previous year up to 100. And still work with David closely. I now actually coach back for him, some of his clients, on the way to hopefully 200. So that's
awesome.
the growth. Yeah.
That's really cool. And Michael, now that you're over with EXP, what is something that you didn't know about EXP that now you really like or utilize, or something you didn't expect about this brokerage?
Interesting. Another good question. So there's a I think when I looked at it initially, being an entrepreneur and a business person, right, the model made sense. But I'll be honest, it made sense more from actually not so much from the revenue share model. We knew that was there, and of course that was kind of in our long-term plan. But certainly just the structure of it, right, where we had the flexibility and the freedom to pay our agents as we want to see fit. Our market center had some restrictions previously, how much you could pay your agents, how you could structure your team, how you could grow your team. So we liked the basic business model that right away we could operate more profitably on it. The stock was good, and that's become a good benefit.
Absolutely. Everybody loves the stock.
Yeah, but I think what kind of was unexpected from that, and this I really got when we went to our first EXP Con and the last time in Las Vegas, and then again at shareholders, was there's a different vibe. But that I mean, when you go to some of the other, I can only speak for the KW's events. Again, great company, education focused, all about growth. But there's a different quality when you go to the events. You have a much more of a collaborative mindset when you're at EXP, is what I find, because we're all shareholders, right? I've got a couple thousand shares now just for being here, getting bonuses, getting icons, taking my little percentage of my payouts as stock, and that makes a difference, right? We're no longer showing up as kind of independent franchise owners, and there's a lot less. There's certainly recognition. I mean, there's the icon program, which I'm very privileged and to be a part of, but it's not the same. Like it's not just a glossed over award ceremony, right? We're going to recognize everybody for everything and all different things, and there's a lot less ego, I find. So I find that people at all the levels, there's a lot more collaboration and cooperation, because we're all in it together. It's just like Brent says, the one big fire, right? And someone can do well, whether they're an organization or not, they're going to help my stock price. So it's much more of a collaborative, I think, globally that I ever experienced previously, because it just was a different model, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Cool.
And Michael, before we dive into more about the Icon Award, let's talk about, how you take care of you. Where's your work-life balance fall in all of this? How do you recharge?
I've been learning to roll a kayak. So,
okay, that's fun.
Yeah, so I like water sports. Yep, certainly like water sports. So kayaking, sailing. I teach sailing. I teach some adult recreation programs. I've been an avid sailor for years. So I give back by teaching, and I've been learning to what's like basically Eskimo roll kayaks. So taking some I have a kayak coach.
Cool.
Yep, and that's kind of cool. We try to get on the water. We live on the Kennebec River, so we can pretty much get to the water when we want to. And then real estate kind of fills that too, because my wife loves redoing old houses, and we have a bunch of them, and we're always involved with something in real estate, and that's fulfilling too. But I would say it's more the kayaking, little photography, like video. That's what we do a lot of video for our team, and an occasional game of chess. So
awesome. I know how to play chess. I used to be in a chess club in middle school, so I love it too. I'm probably not so good anymore.
Well, we could try.
You'd probably beat me, but I would at least know how the players move. Well, that's awesome, Michael. Fun ways to recharge so that you're your best self, facing family, clients, friends, you name it.
Remember, 6 kids. So we have,
that's a lot. And so you really need to find ways to recharge and make sure to manage it all.
Yeah.
And Michael, that being said, let's dive in more to the Icon Awards. So what's your production look like out in your area? What's that average house price? How many does it take you to hit that $16,000 cap? Because after that, it's 20,000, 20 transactions.
Yeah. If you're a solo agent, it would be right, because you're going to get your 16 cap and then 250 transaction capping fee for 20. So for us, it's going to take a little more because again, I'm split, right? So but I'm hitting it faster this year. So I mean, we'll cap in the first couple months. Typically, I will, and a lot of my agents will cap as well at the $8,000 team cap. But our average sale price in 21 was 290,000 approximately. Okay, we closed about 97 sides. I don't remember the actual dollar volume. It's just shy of 20, I think, in the 20 million in production. And so this year we're running in July, we're coming into the mid-teens on production. So we're shooting for 30 million. Our goal is 200. It'll depend on how much our recruiting does. We are recruiting aggressively right now to our team and building our expansion as well. So right now my cap year would end on October 1, right? So I have right now enough pending that by like the end of July, that'll hit another icon.
Awesome.
And that's taken more transactions, right? Because I most of them now I'm only getting, let's say, half or a little less than half.
Okay.
You know, and I'm only closing, one or two, maybe even one or none in some months. So it does take longer, but the volume is there and supporting the agents. That's why it's really a team effort. It's a team award. I look at it more than anything.
Okay.
Question. Yeah.
Yeah. That answered the question excellently.
Cool.
And then, it's more than just production, Michael. There's also that cultural commitment to it, which really supports the morale and community at EXP. So that being said, what's your cultural commitment? Are you a teacher, mentor?
Both. Yep. So I'm a certified mentor, which oddly enough, it was odd because I became a certified mentor and figured I would do it through that, partially, and also teaching in the EXP world. So as it turned out, most of the people that I sponsored, so let's say I'm let's say almost 20 now in the organization. So most of those agents are on my team, so they don't need the mentor program. So I'm also teaching EXP World. So I teach a class that I just did my second one, and it was really well received. It's on how to use video to supercharge your lead gen, lead follow-up, lead conversion. Had about 35, 40 people in the last two, really good 9-10 ratings. So really excited about that. Teaching the class. I love teaching. EXP World is fun to teach in the EXP World. The first time doing it, and you do a webcam stream. Also, you can live stream your camera so people can see you, and it's really cool. So I enjoy that a lot. So that's the teaching and the mentoring.
Okay, awesome. And it's such an important staple. It's so awesome that EXP has, implemented that and really after icons, which is the top 2% of the company, to participate and give back to EXP World.
Absolutely.
So I think that's incredible. And Michael, for my last question concerning the Icon Award and your experience with it, what is your favorite part, right? You get that cap back in stock and nice big shiny trophy.
I mean, the money's always nice, let's face it. But I'll have to be honest, when I first hit I didn't even know I hit it. So that just shows you how, like I said, we're focused on serving people, right? Based on the premise, if you help enough people get whatever they want, you can get whatever you want. Yeah. And so that's kind of like, we want to be, best in class and capabilities in our market, right? And really provided a first class what does a 5-star level of service look like? And it was my first year hitting it. I was like, I pulled up my numbers and I'm like, holy cow. I'm like just like a transaction away or two from hitting the financial requirements. So I wasn't like tracking on it from day one, which maybe made it easier to hit. I don't know. And then this year it's coming, a few months sooner, which is good. It does create pressure to keep at it. So, but I think that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I think kind of the most rewarding thing of doing it is the fact that it allows you, working at this level of production, you can bring a lot of the people with you. And, and so at least one of my agents, if not two of them right now, I believe they're in their first year, they'll icon their second year, right? They're already at that level. So you can bring more icons with you. Yeah. The teaching aspect, I love being able to teach in the EXP World and share the knowledge with others. And then the networking, like the event they do, which is the third day, at Shareholders, they did an icon only event, was awesome. A lot of that's where you see the collaboration. And I heard that from other agents too, who had been at KW and been at the big events. It's a different vibe. There's a much more of a collaborative. We're in it together and we're going to grow it together.
Yes. So. I got to speak at the Icon event as Shareholders for a very last minute impromptu. So it's where I recruited a lot more icons to join me on the podcast. It's been great. You're right. That event was awesome. Seeing everybody join together and brainstorm, little mini masterminds at each table between EXP's best, right?
It was. Yep. And it was really cool. I mean, there was some tables we switched to, and I have some sponsors in their states. And I was like, hey, can you take an agent, that we're going to sponsor in your state, and we'll put them on your team. So there's just a lot of that. And they're open to that. The people in the EXP, I find that where it's not the same at the brokerage. It almost can't be, because the structure, the model of EXP, the structure fosters that, right? And it creates that. So what I find is the agents that are really kind of forward thinking and have an independence, have a entrepreneurial, want to be self-sufficient, can build their own way, really attracted to it. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Michael, like we kind of touched on a little bit, iconing, and that being said, within your first couple of years, but as a rookie or somebody from not in EXP looking at coming over to EXP, is it possible for them to icon in their first year? What does that process look like for them? Kind of give us some advice.
Okay. I mean, this is you're kind of asking, how do you get into production quickly? I imagine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a very defined process in our team. It would depend if you're a team, if you're going in solo. I mean, by definition, going into an icon means you're going to go at a full cap, right? Whether you're on a team or not, which, remember, I was only, less than 2 years in. So I was kind of a rookie. I have experience in sales and marketing, but I think in some ways it's like, if you don't focus on it, you'll hit it easier. Like, if it sounds odd, but if you just focus on taking the activities and the actions, right? And, when I sit with a new agent and they set their goal, and I know what my lead sources are, right? I know what that agent, if they will take the activities that we lay out, a perfect daily schedule, what does your day look like? What's it going to look like? How many conversations are you going to have? There's a lot of math in real estate.
Yes.
What you have to add into it is taking the action. And that's where being in the right network, being in the right, if you're gonna join EXP, getting into the right sponsorship is certainly helpful, right? Someone that's going to support you. Doesn't need to be the biggest sponsor, because a lot of times can be so far away from you, you may never have a connection with them. But it means being in the right people with the right people, right? And then and understanding the business. The business is changing. There's opportunity now. We're not slowing down.
Right. Right. And who you surround yourself with absolutely matters. Lean into your mentors, your coaches, take advantage of that training in EXP world. And Michael, as another question, because EXP wasn't your first brokerage. So were you ever skeptical of EXP when it was first introduced to you?
Good question again. Something maybe. I don't have a strong recollection of that, because I really came in really focused, I mean, quite honestly, on Keller Williams, because I was really, I still buy into the one thing mindset, right? Work on one thing and follow through with it. And that's what attracted me to my first brokerage, was the education and the follow through, right?
Yep.
And when I got there, what I found is there was the conflict that kind of developed, and it wasn't like anything they were doing wrong, but where we wanted to go and grow with it, right? Actually, it wasn't there. In other words, I'm a natural born independent. I haven't had a salary job since I'm almost 60. So I haven't worked for like a paycheck since my early 20s. And when I'm, as much as I love the partners down there and I like them very much and respect them, you're still working for them. You're making money for them. You're on their books, right? And you have to run with their expenses. It's a model that works, and I think it, for them, right?
Absolutely.
But for us, Matt and I at the time, we're like, I want to own it, right? I want to own it. I want to own my operation, but I don't want to have anybody other than what needs to be the legality of it, right? I don't want to own a brokerage either, because I don't want to deal with. I've owned businesses. I don't want the red tape. I was the vice president of Morgan Stanley Smith Barney. I've been through compliance. I don't want to deal with the compliance issues and just the complexities of owning a brokerage, right? And what I think really developed and attracted us as the EXP model came out, I don't think I was ever that skeptical. I think I was really attracted to it almost when I first saw it, because I said, this is really entrepreneurial. And what's kind of evolved, and the way I've been explaining it, because to my new team members that come on, is that what Glenn realized was that his leaders will self-select, right? Whereas if you buy a territory of call it red box brokerage, right? And you buy that territory, now you go hire a tail and an A-tail, you pay them, 6-figure salary, you say, go get people. You've put someone in that chair, right? There's no one in that chair at EXP per se, right? But what
Yeah.
Glenn said was, if I create the right environment, my leaders will self-select, right? Some agents want to be produced, want to be production. They love the day-to-day. Perfect. That's their jam. Other agents like myself and some other, icon agents says, you know what? We're going to self-select. This is our jam. We love bringing people up. We love leading and recruiting people, or attracting, as I think is more one way to put it, right? And his leadership will self-select. That's why you have a fairly small percentage of agents that do a lot of the attraction.
Yeah.
Because that's the way it should be, right? If you think about it. Because
and it's not recruiting, it is attraction, right?
Right. Yeah. But you want the job, go out and do everything that would make that person in that seat successful, right? So when you have a company, it's like you can have the right person in the wrong seat.
Right.
That's not going to work, right? And, being with the, involved with the VAs and whatnot, you got to have the right person in the right seat. So that's what it is. So if you're the right person, right, the chair's right there for you. Go take a seat and make it happen. And that's where the icons and the best attractors have taken that position. So that's what I love about it. There's no constraints.
Right. And then Michael, as far as I lost my train of thought for some reason.
Right.
No. Okay. So as far as, the agent attraction goes, and talking to somebody that is maybe watching right now, thinking about making that switch to EXP or making it their first brokerage, but they're scared. They got to cut off ties with their current broker, all the sauce that goes into that. What's your advice to kind of kick them in the butt to make them get over here quicker?
Well, I think you always have to, anything in life, you have to always be willing to ask yourself, how do you know what you know? Right. And where do I know it from? Because there's a lot of things, and it's not just with brokerages or EXP or any other firm. There's a lot of things that we believe to be true, in fact, which, how do we know it from? Who put it in our heads, right? What marketing, what positioning? Because it's just a natural way that things go. So I would say it'd be really open-minded to actually say, what would my business look like if I were to run it over here, right? And if you actually look at that, then it becomes very, very compelling for the person that makes sense for, right? If you look at some of the people that are running teams and are doing production, and they're getting some, let's say, a profit share model brokerage, well, what would that individuals look like if they brought their team over to an EXP model? Okay. I mean, look, right now, EXP has, I think in all 50 states, we certainly have a number 1, 2, or 3 agent or brokerage, right? Where we're on the map. We're 82,000 agents. So there isn't any step back
now, actually.
What is it?
83,000 now.
Yeah. So there's no setback in name recognition. When I first joined here, in Maine, and I would go out to some far out places. I would drive anywhere for a listing, and I didn't even know where I was going. I just moved here. Like the name of the town, I had no idea. But I'd be like, this is my company. I would say, Keller Williams. They'd be like, Keller who? So in the major metros, yes, there's a recognition. But once that's not really why you should join any brokerage, right? So now it's a matter of, what does my business look like? And what opportunities do I give my team members, right? My one of my agents right now, right? Shout out to Dylan, who just put about, he's 7-8 weeks in, putting his 5th under contract, has 3 people coming on that he's recruited. I was just talking to one right now. Newer agents, granted, new agents getting going, but he's going to have 3 in his revenue share, and it's going into his 2nd month.
Right.
That we as a team are going to develop into solid producing agents because they're motivated to do it. And that's why we accepted them on our team. So what organization, right, can give an agent that opportunity?
Right.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So I think you have to be open-minded to really, they say, like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Doesn't
expect. Yeah. No, once you see the model, you can't unsee it. You gotta make a move.
We heard Brent say it a lot, but there's truth to that, right? It's such a nuanced, and there's so many, ways that, and it's not just real estate. It's in multiple verticals now, and that all of that is just adding in. That's why our stock, even though it's down somewhat, has not like tanked like other straight, vertical real estates have. So yeah, I just guess you got to be open-minded. You got to say, how do I know what I know? And why do I know I'm at the best place?
Right. And do your due diligence, make sure you're doing research, ask questions straight from the source. EXP agents are going to be happy to field those from you. And Michael, that was my last question. We're approaching over 25 minutes. I think it's been an awesome podcast. Do you have any last words that you want to share with listeners?
Oh my gosh, last words. Just, we're in a market now that people say is shifting. It certainly is, but that's opportunity, right? When I remind agents that if you look at the number of existing home sales year over year, it's going to stay about the same. Will it go from 5 million to 4.95 million, something like that? May it change a little bit? Yes, but you need to be like one of my mentors, Dean Jackson, taught me that you need to look at this business, if you're going to be successful, as like the referee in a tennis match, right? Because the referee watches the game. Whoever scores the point is not a personal issue, right? So if you're going the buyer, the seller, if it's a long sale, it's a short sale, in or out, right? You can't, if you start taking sides, right, then you're going to get emotional about it and start looking at it, you get negative behavior. If you're the referee in the game, the referee just calls the shots. So watch the market, understand it, see where it's going, and be able to solve the client's problems of what's coming up, right? It's going to be different problems that came up in our last kind of shift, the 08s out of there. It'll be different than what was in the early 2000s and late 90s. So just pay attention, educate yourself, and understand where the problem is going to need to be solved and go after it. So.
I love it. Michael, thank you so much for your time today. Are you going to be at EXPCon?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
I would suspect you would never miss something like that. Well, Michael, I can't wait to catch up with you in Vegas. And thank you so much for your time today. What an incredible and insightful episode.
Thanks, Gianna. It's been great seeing you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks. You too.
Bye-bye.
This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at SphereRocketVA.com and find out how we can make your life easier.